friends, welcome! Today we are going to be working with our Hearty Clay Impressions Kit, and we are making our Hearty Clay imprinted ornament today. So let's get started. I just have samples here because you can see you're going to have a lot of Hearty Clay. You can make more when we're done. I'm going to move that down and let's open up our kit together so you can see what's inside. First of all, and so wonderfully important, is our instruction sheet. I pulled this out first because it's a good reminder of the things that come in your kit, but also things you don't have in your kit that you're going to need today. Some of those things you're going to need a cup of water, a little jar of water for your paintbrush. Please make sure you have some paper towels, napkin or something to help with your painting and your cleaning and if it's dripping. We're gonna need a palette today. I'm using a paper plate. In the past, we've used a lot of different things as palettes. If you have a piece of plastic or a plastic bag, you can use that for a palette or another cup. Today, this is mine. I have my pencil with me, and I think everything else we have in here. So let's take a look at what's inside your bag. Of course, our Hearty Clay. We are working with the color white today, but if you like other colors, come down to Ben Franklin because we have a lot of other colors. There's a paintbrush in your kit, which I think is great. You are going to find a pretend fern or a pretend leaf. We call these faux plants. Faux is just a fancy word for fake or pretend. So you're going to have your faux fern. Yours might look different. This kit just has this nice little leaf here. I also have, a longer piece of ribbon. And you can see, looking at this finished piece, look at how much ribbon you have. This is so you can make even more ornaments. So I'm going to put that on the side. And of course, lastly, it's a little container of green acrylic paint. So keep that nearby. Now remember, the bag that comes with your kit is very important. If you are going to open up your clay when we start, you're going to take out your piece, and the first thing you're going to do, of course, is fold over your bag and put it back into your plastic bag and seal it shut. This is going to help to keep your clay nice and soft so it doesn't dry out, so you'll be able to make more ornaments. All right, I'm going to move these pieces to the side because I already have some clay that I'm going to work with, and let's get started. So I'm going to open this up. Those of you that have worked with us and clay before know that we like to talk about, dividing up your clay when you've opened it, maybe into 3 pieces. So you have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to take one piece. Now just remember, when we start to take the clay out, you can always grab more clay to make your piece bigger, or you can take off some of your clay and put it back in the package to save for later. Right now, you know what? I don't know if I want to take as much of a third, meaning if I divided this into 3, I would take that. I'm going to take maybe a quarter or 1/4 of my brick, just to see how big that is. Because the size of the ball of clay that I want to make it the size of a ping pong ball. Now, if you watch the Olympics this summer, they had ping pong competition, and that was really exciting. And a ping pong ball, not everybody has played ping pong. So ping pong ball is about the size of maybe a little bigger than some of those super bouncy balls you might see in the store. It's smaller than a golf ball. So here's the clay I'm going to work with. I folded over my package. I'm going to get my plastic bag, and I'm going to tuck that in right away. I want to work with the clock so that I know I'm taking care of my clay, keeping it nice and sealed so I can work with it later. And I want to work with the clock, meaning I want to work with purpose and focus so that my clay doesn't dry out. Ooh, let's see how big this is. My eyes got a little bit big on this. So I'm looking at that. That's kind of a golf ball size. I'm actually going to pull off a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just twist a little bit. Boop. And what do? I'm just going to stick that really quickly into that plastic bag. I don't need to put it back in here. As long as I keep it in the plastic bag, press out that air, seal it up nice and tight, that's going to stay usable for me. So I'm going to make my ball. Yeah, I like that size. I'm not going to worry about like these little wrinkles and folds right now, because what I want to do is just look at my size of my ball. Oh, I forgot to say, the one other thing on your list that some of you might have noticed is it does say here that you might need a plastic roller. And you might think, what is plastic roller? All we mean is you need something that is round that you can use to roll your clay. I'm going to use my Ben Franklin drink flask, and I'm going to press my clay down, and I'm just going to gently roll. See, this is why I need a roller, because it's round and it can flatten my clay. So I'm going to roll it this way. I might even turn it this way and roll it this way. I don't want to make it too flat. That looks just about right. About 1/4 inch, maybe 1 centimeter thick. I'm going to put my roller on the side. Now you can see, this is what is really neat about Hearty Clay. I can see that when I smashed it, when I rolled it, these little cracks and pieces came apart on the side. I like that. We kept our edges nice and rough on here, but you can remember that, say if this is the side I want to work on, I can use my finger to smooth that out. I can even grab my water if I want to dip my finger in that just a little bit. I don't want to make it too wet. I'm going to rub my fingers together. I can even use my finger with a little bit of water and just smooth this out. But look at that. I want to leave those edges nice and rough, because that's going to be really pretty, and you'll see why when we start to do things like paint. All right, I have that nice and flat. I even flip it like a pancake. Give it a pat on the other side. Ooh, I like the way that looks. I'm going to leave it on that side. Now I'm going to grab the leaf that was in my kit. Now remember, we have these faux plants, these fake plants. Yours might just be a little leaf. Some of them we tossed in, I don't know, maybe there's a bigger leaf that has more than one piece on it. Here's all you need to know. When we are going to make our impression in our ornament, you can already see, well, this doesn't fit. I do want a piece that's going to fit on top of my clay piece. So if you have a leaf that has more than one piece, well, go ahead and get your handy dandy scissors. You can just cut those off, clip those off, and I'll show you. We took apart one already, and that leaves me with a lot of pieces. So when you have just one piece, you can put that right in the middle of your ornament. Oops, I want that to stay still. But say you have 2 pieces. Oh, I'm going to take that one, and can you see how it's curved like that? I'm actually going to face it down. I'm going to face it down to face the front side down on my clay. And if you have a small piece, you can put more than one leaf on there too. Today, I'm just going to use that one. I'm going to get my handy dandy roller again.
Well, Leah, a little tip that I like to do, I put my fern down on my paper first, and then I put the clay on top of it.
Oh.
And I see, like for me, that's helpful.
So like this, Miss Jenny,
Yeah.
on my paper.
And then the
And
clay
I'm actually
on top.
going to cover it.
You could do it either way, so it might be fun to try both ways when you do
Right.
more clay.
That's true. I want to do Miss Jenny's way because I've not tried that way. So I have my leaf underneath. I'm going to put my clay on top of it. And then I'm just going to press it down to make sure that it's set. And then I'm going to get my handy dandy round roller again. I like using my flask because it's heavy. If you're not using something big like this, then you might want to use your roller and just push down on your roller a little bit. Give that another extra good luck tap. And then I'm going to lift it up. Oh, there's the leaf. Oh, and I don't know if you can see that yet, but I have this beautiful impression of the leaf that was on the table. Can you see that? When I turn it, the light can catch all those little nooks and crannies from my leaf. Oh, it looks fantastic. Now, I'm gonna go grab my pencil. You can see I've been using it to work with the clay. And I'm actually gonna use this end of my pencil today, my eraser end, to push a small hole into the top of my ornament. Now, and it's hard for you to see, but I can see that the very tip of my leaf did get pressed in there. I don't want to smash that, so you know what? I'm actually going to turn it a little bit, and I'm going to put the hole here. We're going to get to see what that looks like when I hang it. So I'm taking the end of my eraser, putting it in. I'm just going to press it a little bit so you can see. Here is where I want to make the hole. Notice I'm not putting it really close to the edge of my ornament. I want to make sure it's inside so that that hole, when it dries, is really going to be strong enough to hold my ornament on my ribbon. So I'm pressing down my eraser and I'm giving it a little bit of a twist, and I'm going to pull that up real gently. I'm going to look on the other side. I just want to make sure it did go all the way through, and I'm going to take my pencil and push all the way through, right? And pull that back out. And there's my hole in my ornament. Oh, that's going to be really nice. Again, when you make your own ornaments, you can practice the way I did today and put your leaf down and press your clay on top of it, or put your leaf face down on your clay and use your handy dandy roller to roll it. So now I have my ornament, I have my beautifully pressed leaf. I made sure I made my hole so that it will dry and I'll have somewhere to hang. And what are the pieces I haven't used yet? My paint. I'm going to grab my palette and my paintbrush, and of course my jar of water. So now open up your paint very carefully. Ask for help if you need it. And you're going to see we gave you a nice amount of paint in there. Now I think something that a lot of you probably already noticed is that the color in our finished ornament is much lighter, almost a watery version color of this. And that, your eyes are telling you exactly the method that we're going to use today. Because I'm going to wet my brush, just give it a little bit of water. I'm going to pull out a little bit of paint, whether from my cover or down here in my pot. This is all your paint. I'm actually going to put it on my palette, and I'm going to pick up even more water. So I'm going to start to put some water down here. And I'm going to start working that paint, kind of pulling that paint and really using that water to water it down. When you hear people say, well, we just want to water it down, it's exactly as it sounds. You are using water and adding water to make something a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner, meaning it's not as thick as it was at the beginning. I'm going to actually add a little bit more water, and now I'm going to add color to my ornament. Now those of you that have worked with air dry clay, again, right, maybe you have to go somewhere and you don't have time to finish painting. You can let it dry, work on the paint later. Today, I'm not going to worry that my clay is still a little bit moist. I just worked on it because it'll all dry together. So now I'm going to pick up some of that watery paint and I'm going to start painting my ornament. Can you see all those wonderful cracks that I left on the edge of my ornament? Now they're showing up. I'm using a very light touch because like I said, for me, my ornament is still a little bit wet, right? My clay is still new from the package. And so I want to make sure I don't smash my fern shape. Now don't worry. Are you wondering, uh-oh, Miss Malia, I can't see your leaf. Don't worry. I just want to make sure I'm coloring my whole ornament. Ooh, again, look at all those wonderful cracks and wrinkles. It almost looks like a fossil, Miss Jenny.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I like to put just water on top to lighten it up. So instead of dipping my paintbrush in the paint every time, sometimes I just go into the water. I clean off my brush completely.
Like this.
And then I go into my ornament and then touch either on the leaf or around the sides, and that will lighten it up.
It does. See how that color is getting lighter?
You can also pull some of the color up with your paper towel too. That's just another little tip that I do.
Next too.
All kinds of fun things you can experiment with.
So I'm going to put some darker paint right where my leaf is, and then I'm going to do like Miss Jenny said. I'm going to wet my brush. I'm going to clean my brush off. I'm going to see what happens if I pull some of that color away. So I cleaned my brush. Now I'm going to use that color. Ooh, there's my leaf. Kind of pull it away. Pull it away. Oh, that's very cool. And when it dries, you're going to get to see that leaf of mine really well.
And I like, because we're using a lot of water with this to water it down, you're not seeing any sharp edges from the paint.
Right.
Right?
It's very soft.
Yes.
Yeah, and look at it sinking into my clay. I'm actually going to add a little more to that edge because I love seeing those wrinkles.
And the texture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the paper towel might leave some cool texture on it too, maybe.
I wanted to save that for the end. I'm going to move this to the side. And what Miss Jenny's saying is, right, you had that napkin or paper towel. Now for me, remember, my clay is a little wet, so I'm not going to smash it. I'm just going to lightly put my paper towel over it, give it a light tap, tap, tap. That's going to pick up some of the water. It's going to pick up some of that paint.
And you're very gentle. Oh,
look, I made a print here.
That's more art.
And and if you want to add more, I can go back in and add more just so that you can see my leaves again.
It really is subtle and very beautiful.
And then I'm just going to let that dry. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. If you have pictures of what you're doing while you're doing it, meaning maybe you have pictures of you working on it, send us those. And then when you're finished, send pictures of your finished ornament too. Well, I know that this is wet, but remember, when it's dry, you are going to go find that ribbon. The nice thing about having so much is you have enough ribbon for if you want to make more, or if you want to have a little bit of a longer hanger on your ornament than just a little ribbon at the top. You can cut it long. And what we're going to do is cut that ribbon. I'm just going to fold it over. So here's that loop I'm going to use for hanging. And I'll save that there. And then you can just take your ribbon And if you want to put it through the hole.
We do recommend you do that when it's dry.
Yes, do wait
Miss
for your
Malia's,
piece to dry.
Yeah, demonstrating now on ours.
Just so you can see
Yeah.
how that ribbon is going to hang. But yes, take a rest from your clay and let it dry.
And Malia, remember all those other things that we talked about you could use these for, not just ornaments?
That's right. So here are some things, right? If we had a string, we could hang it. But look what Miss Jenny and I were thinking about. This is, just like the ornament you made, it can be a gift tag for a present that you're giving.
And then they can hang it also.
Exactly. And once they're done opening their present, they have an ornament to hang anywhere they want. If they have it on a tree, they can hang it in their office, they can hang it in their room. You can make more, and you can make some to put on presents for a tree, and then some for you to keep. We can't wait for you to show us what you make, and even show us pictures of what you're going to use your ornament on as decoration. Thank you so much for your hard work today, friends, and we will see you next time.